Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the channel and welcome to this live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being here on this weekend. So I'm really excited today to talk about the opportunity that there is with doing print on demand and selling on the Etsy marketplace in 2022. If you have questions, I will be answering questions at the end of this broadcast. So be sure to ask your questions and I'll be sure to answer them to the best that I can. But I do want to talk about what Printful is and the Etsy marketplace and the opportunity that is currently there still today. Some of you may think it's saturated or oversaturated, but there's still a lot of opportunity. And so I'm going to show you just a few things here, and then I will be answering questions for you. All right, so if you're not familiar with what Printful is or what a print provider is, it's an online marketplace where you're able to have someone take care of all of the shipping and all the handling and all the printing for you. And so one of my favorite print providers that I currently use is known as Printful. They do everything for you, so it can become very hands-off and very passive after doing the upfront work. And so all you have to do is you have to create your own designs, you add them to your storefront, whatever storefront you're using, if it's Etsy or eBay, wherever you are selling on Amazon, even is another opportunity there. But it can be integrated with several different platforms here, several different marketplaces. And one of my most favorite marketplaces to sell on is Etsy. It's a great place, and there's a lot of opportunity there, and a lot of ways to really make it 100% your own, which is one of my favorite parts. So it feels like it's your own store that you're running. The best part about selling on a marketplace is you have a huge audience of people that are coming to this marketplace to shop. So you already have a lot of customer base. As long as you're doing your SEO correctly, it's a great way to be able to be found. So with Etsy alone, there's over 80 million buyers, and you're able to easily sell to customers through the marketplace here. So if you're not familiar with Etsy, here's Etsy. And here you can build out a store, and then you can start selling t-shirts similar to this, like we have right here. So we have Christmas shirts. You can create designs just like this and sell them on Etsy. And within a few days, you can start making sales as long as you're doing everything that you're supposed to do in order to be found in search results. And it does take time, but there is opportunity still on Etsy and doing print on demand. So if you have questions, I want to answer questions that you have. So please ask your questions in the live chat here, and I'll be answering any questions that you may have. I know we have Mary here. We have Lori here from LA. Cool to have you here, Lori. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just a few more thoughts I have about doing print on demand and selling on the Etsy marketplace. It's a great way to just have a side income, or it can become your side hustle where you can make an extra $50 a week or $100 a week. It really depends on how much work you're willing to put in. It could be a way to make extra money for family vacations. It could be a way to pay your bills, or a great way to make some extra money to start investing in other areas, or even just to earn some extra spending money for yourself. There is a lot of opportunity still on Etsy and doing print on demand. I started within the last 2 years, and I've turned this into a side income to my full-time income. So the opportunity is there, and I can say that from my own experience. And I know there's a lot of people in our Facebook group, Print on Demand Warriors, and who's part of our community, who've had the same experience where they started a store and they started to see daily sales, and they started to see this as becoming not only just a side income, but a main source of income for them. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a way to start making money online with little experience and little upfront cost, print on demand and selling on Etsy is a great way to start. I have no background in business or doing e-commerce, but I've learned everything just doing my research online, watching different videos, doing all the just experimenting to figure out what works. And then I've been able to create something that has allowed me to make money online. And one of my most favorite parts of it is I'm able to have an income wherever I am. So if I want to go on a trip or if I want to travel abroad, I'm able to have money coming in that will help fund those activities. And there's no better way to make passive income right now than starting your own print on demand store. So I do want to answer some questions that you guys have. So this will be as beneficial as possible for you. But if you're not in our Facebook group yet, Print on Demand Warriors, make sure you go and join our Facebook group. It's a great community there, and it's a place you can get a lot of questions answered that you may not be able to necessarily find on Google. We have a few people tuning in here. So we have Sangman Lee, out of all POD companies, is Printful the best? Example, price, quality, delivery, etc. So I personally like Printful the best. I know Printify is significantly cheaper, but they have been raising their prices. But for me, quality is more important than a higher margin. So Printful has been great quality for me. I've had some negative experiences with Printify in the past. But with that being said, with Printify, the difference between Printful and Printify is like the middleman between several different print providers, whereas Printful is doing their printing themselves. So there's more opportunity for error within Printify. But if you select the correct print provider, then you can have good luck with them. But for me personally, I like Printful better and have had better luck with them. So I am blessed 2022 or 2020. Good morning, Brennan from Tampa. Do you recommend making videos for t-shirts? So if that's something that you're interested in doing, I recommend dabbling with it. If you want to order a few shirts, a few sample orders, you can do that. Or you can even do like slideshows of your mock-ups. It's not a bad idea to be able to showcase your design in another way rather than just a photo. So I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's 100% required in order to have success, but I would recommend experimenting and seeing how it goes for you. It may increase conversion in your shop. It's just a matter of experimenting. Mary, good to have you here. For a store that is still gaining momentum, what would you think of waiting? What would you think of waiting to sync with Printful until getting a first sale of a product? That way we could get more posted with less time. Thoughts? So, Mary, my thought process with that is you're going to be doing a lot of extra work in the end where you could just streamline it in the beginning. So, for me personally, yes, you could get your listings up quicker, but I personally think it would be smarter and less work and less hassle in the long run if you just sync as you go rather than sync once sales start coming in. But not a bad idea. If you want to experiment with it, you can. I just say that from past experience. When I first started out, we uploaded a lot of designs, but we were kind of lazy on the placement of our designs. And so it ended up to where anytime a sale came in, we had to edit the design and make sure it was properly placed before we could fulfill that order. And it ended up being such a huge headache, especially when sales started to increase during Q4 and we had a really strong sale count during the fall season, and it ended up being a huge headache, and we were almost not excited when we had sales because it was so much work. So that's my thought process there, Mary. I would sync as you go, so it's less work in the end, but not a bad idea. How do you price your t-shirts to say this is a good price and I will be satisfied with X profit after POD price? Okay, so how I do my pricing strategy is I use the eRank profit calculator. I talk about this a lot in my videos, but it's a great way to see your total cost, the total fees you'll be paying to Etsy in the marketplace, your total shipping cost, and then your total profit in the end after you show your retail price. So I use the eRank profit calculator. You don't need to have an eRank account you don't have to be paying for eRank. You can have their free, be signed up for their free account. Just create an account with them and you have access to that calculator. There's a lot of different other calculators out there that you can use, but this one's the easiest for me. And I've had, it's just the most simple way to really see what your total profit is. And so how I do it starting out is I want to make $5 to $6 per item after all costs. And then I can slowly increase that price depending on how that specific design does. If it starts to take off and do really well, I'll slowly increase it until I find a good sweet point where I want it at. But the eRank profit calculator is how I do that. And I have a pricing strategy video that I recommend watching that will help you figure out pricing and how you structure your pricing, if you offer free shipping, if you charge for shipping, etc. Okay. Mirna, Fanny, good to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. Adama, good to have you here. Hi, Brandon. Do you build an email list on Etsy? What's okay and what's risky? Thank you. I love your videos. Great question. So 100%, I highly recommend having an email list. The way that I do mine is in my shop announcements and in my description. And even you can use it in the banner. Really use any space available, or in your listing photos is another great place to include this. But I'll just say sign up for my email list to receive 10% off on your next order, or sign up for my email list to do buy one, get one free, or however you want to structure it. But it's very smart to have an email list, because then you're able to have access to marketing to those customers who sign up for it. And you're able to send them like coupons during the holiday season, or let them know when you've launched new designs, or anything that you inform them on. You're able to build a community there, and to really, it's a great way to increase sales, because you're able to retarget customers that have already shown interest in your shop. But something to be careful with this, Adama, is you can never market to customers just based off of like an order that comes in and then messaging through um, Etsy messages. I mean, once the message has been opened, yes, you're able to, but like long-term marketing, I mean, like weeks in advance or months in advance, you can't send out coupons to them. So you have to be careful in that way. But yeah, just include it in your shop banner, in your shop announcement, in your listing photos, and in your descriptions, letting them know, sign up for my email list for whatever deal you're offering. Great question. Have you ever used Marmalade, and do you recommend it, or Sales Samurai? Thank you. There's a lot of good that comes from all tools like that, any SEO tool. For me personally, I like to go straight to the source for my immediate and my initial SEO researching, but I do know there's value in tools like that as long as you use them correctly, but I wouldn't completely focus all of your efforts only using keywords on Marmalade and on Sales Samurai or on eRank, because I know a lot of people get caught up on those tools and like making sure their listing is at an A plus or whatever it is, and they kind of fall behind in other aspects where really you don't need to overcomplicate SEO. The biggest things I can give for recommendation for SEO is to think like a buyer, to use proven keywords. So look for listings within your specific niche that you're designing in, see what type of keywords they're ranking for on the first few pages, and incorporate those into your title and your tags. And that's a great way to get started with your SEO. But if you want to experiment with them, you can just sign up for one of their basic plans, see how you like it. If you don't like it, cancel it. But if you love it, then run with it. And if it increases sales, then yeah, it may be worth your investment. But for me personally, I'd go straight to the source, to Etsy, and see what's currently being searched for and ranking on Etsy. And I'll, just because I can share my screen here, I'll show you an example real quick of what I mean. Okay, one second here. Okay, so for me, for just a quick example, Adama, I would go to Etsy here, and we have Christmas shirt. A quick example here is if you just hit the search bar here, it'll show you what's popular right now. So you have kids' toys for toddler, restore the hope, mommy and me robe, Cyber Monday sale. So you have a lot of different keywords, and these changes all throughout time. So you'll check them at different times of the day, and you'll see new keywords popular right now. That's a great way to find keywords to use that you can incorporate into your store and design specifically for. Another great way is, like I said, search a specific keywords. So for whatever you're designing in, go through here, see the listings that rank on the first few pages, see what type of keywords they're using. And if they seem like it's a keyword that a buyer would search for, then incorporate that in your title and your tags. But go straight to the source and don't ever overcomplicate it. All right. I hope that answered your question. I'd love to hear you talk about the process of posting in bulk and how to streamline it. Maybe just a bit today, and if possible, in a video with behind the scenes. Any tips on efficiencies? So, great question, Mary. I know we've Gloria. You remember Gloria, Mary? I know you know Gloria, and she has mastered a way to streamline it and to add listings very quickly and very efficiently. So I would definitely pick her brain apart about it. But for me personally, Mary, I've just done it so many times that I have a good system now to where I don't have really any great editing strategies, just because there's not a lot of great ways to do that, specifically on Etsy. But I just have a goal set every day for how many listings I will do. And then luckily for me, I work with my wife. My wife and I work together. So she's able to help split up the workload of it. So we're able to get through it quicker. But honestly, it's just a matter of like having templates built out for your description, even use like Google Docs to build out your tags and your title, and then pushing that all from Printful to Etsy. But I don't really have a great way to bulk edit, Mary, but I I would talk to Gloria and see what she's doing exactly. And then just set a goal for yourself and figure out how to streamline it more for yourself. But sorry, I don't really have a better answer for you, Mary, but um, I just figure out what works best for you. And if I have more tips in the future that would help with bulk editing more, I will definitely be sure to share that on the channel as well as in the Facebook group. But I guess short answer, Mary, is to have your templates built out for descriptions. So you just copy paste those, copy paste your tags, your title, and then push it through to your Etsy store. And then once you do it over a number of times, it starts to go fairly quick. Where you're able to crank out 5 to 10 listings in a matter of a few hours, as long as you have your designs already created. Honestly, for me, the designing aspect of it takes the longest, more so than the creating and building out the listings. And so the designing and then the keyword research. But once you design so often in specific niches, you start to get an idea of what keywords really work, what keywords you rank for. Another place to kind of streamline the keyword side of it is to go to your shop stats, see what keywords you're currently ranking for, what people are finding your shop and your listings for, and then to use those within your listings as well. But awesome question, Mary. And if anyone else has any tips, share them in the live chat so we can all learn together, because I think we all want to be able to streamline and make our business run more efficiently. Margaret, hi from Estonia. Good to have you here. Adama, no problem. Do you only sell on Etsy? Yeah, so I'm primarily selling on Etsy. I know there's a lot of other opportunity on other marketplaces and doing like selling on Amazon, Redbubble. There's a lot of different places to do your selling print on demand. For me, kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm 100% honing all of my thoughts and efforts and energy into one marketplace so I can master it and really get it humming before I start to branch out. But I think it's a great idea to diversify and to be selling on other platforms, especially once you've built out all of these designs. You can easily upload them to multiple different platforms to increase your revenue for the month and for the day. So it's not a bad idea to diversify and sell on other platforms. But for me personally, right now, I'm primarily selling on the Etsy marketplace. Do you personally use Etsy ads? So, Mary, I've gone back and forth. I experimented with Etsy ads in the past, but I didn't see a huge return on them. My advice for experimenting with Etsy ads is one, experiment with them so you can see how they work and to see if they help you. It may increase a lot of traffic and it may really help with conversion. But my advice I have for you, Mary, is do not run Etsy ads or do not pour money into Etsy ads until you have a design that is doing really well and is proven and people are buying it and it has a high conversion rate. Once you have that, then you can scale it by dumping money into it. But other than that, if you don't have extra money to burn, I wouldn't worry about spending money on ads. It's not the only way to have success on Etsy. I would focus all of your efforts onto doing your keyword research and ranking organically, because that will have long-term success with very little cost to it, because you're not spending money on ads. So for me, I only use ads when I have a winning design that does really well. But luckily for me, I've had a lot of designs that have ranked organically very well because I've focused all my efforts on great titles, great keywords, great mock-up photos, and has allowed me to rank organically. So, but experiment with it, Mary. If you have some extra cash, your budget can be between like $1 and $20 a day, so you can keep it as low as you want. And then if you do decide to run ads, I suggest always monitoring your ads every day, seeing what your listings are or how they're performing, and after a few days of them performing, giving them a few chances to show themselves. Then you can scale back ads or turn off the listings that aren't performing for you. Okay. How do you do mockups to post on the listing? So I have a video on this. It's a video that will walk you through exactly how to do it. I'll show you here quickly. So on my channel, if you guys haven't tuned into my channel yet, it's just Brennan Dopp. I walk you through step by step on everything that you need to do. So I have very thorough tutorials, the exact process that I do to have that I've done to build out my shop and to start seeing daily sales. But I have a video how to create design mockups on Over. It's right here. How to design mockups on Over, easy mockup tutorial. It'll walk you through exactly how to do that. So I recommend going and watching that video. If you guys are finding value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so you can know when I'm putting out new content. I post once a week usually, and I go live every other week. But thank you so much for being here today and for asking your questions. It's fun to get together as a community and to really see and work through problems that all of you may be having. Dama, another great question. So we have yes to overcomplicating things. Thank you for your example. I appreciate it. No problem. Yeah, really just don't overcomplicate anything. I think you hear hear big phrases like just the most prime example is SEO. It's easy to be scared by that and to really like, oh no, how do I do this? How do I know what it is? Just the basic of it is just to think like a buyer and to connect the buyer with your listing using a keyword that they would search for. But don't overcomplicate it. Just stick with it. Keep working hard. Keep learning, improving, and implementing. That's been my motto since I started. And good things will come. They're bound to come. That's just the principle of life. If you are always learning, improving, and implementing, you'll see progress in your life in whatever that you do. Hi, Brennan. Are there any design trends that reoccur every new year? Health, wellness, new beginnings. Your videos have helped me so much. Thank you. So awesome question. There's a lot of niches on Etsy that tend to do really well, like the faith niche, like mental health niche does really well. But I think really it just depends on what's currently trending. But with that, I would always take a trend that does well. Like for example, take your wellness niche or your health niche, and then incorporate that with something that's like currently trending today, and then you'll always have great luck with doing that. Being able to combine two different niches into one is a great way to set yourself apart. But I don't think there's one specific niche that reoccurs every single year. I think it always kind of dips and gains on what people are wanting. But yeah, the health, wellness, new beginnings, mental health, like athletics, like sporting events, things like that do really well. Family shirts or like family vacation shirts do really well. It's just a matter of taking a basic niche and then incorporating your own spin on it and creating something unique that you can bring to the Etsy table. But awesome question, Alana. Thank you so much. Mary, when I say bulk, I mean doing a lot at one time. Thanks, Brennan. Yeah, Mary, I haven't personally found a great bulk editing way on Etsy yet, just because you have to individually do them. I know there's some like third-party platforms out there that you can integrate, but I don't know how much they work specifically with Etsy. So I haven't found a great bulk editing way to do it yet. But if I find one, Mary, I'll be sure to let you know. If you are posting 5 to 10 in one niche, do you fully change the titles and tags or just small variations? So if it's the same niche, obviously they're going to be pretty similar keywords that you will be using. And when you find one that does well, you'll want to repeat those keywords because you know that people are finding it with that. So personally, so if like I'm designing a bunch of shirts for um, let's just do Christmas shirts, for example, you're going to be using a lot of the similar keywords, but I would think of different ways to make it specific to that design. But yeah, so I don't think you need to have a completely different title and a completely different, all 13 different tags than your other listings. So I think you would be just changing them in small ways, Mary. So great question, though. And Mary, just to go back to that thought too, is obviously the more different keywords you have that are targeted and proven, the more opportunities you have to be found. If you have every single listing and you copy paste every title and every tag, you're going to have a limit. You're going to have a limited amount of opportunities to be found because you're only going to be ranking for those specific keywords. So obviously, the more keywords you have and the more variety of keywords you have, the better. But within specific niches, they'll be fairly similar. I have a niche t-shirt that would work well with personalization. I have a new store. Would you recommend adding personalization to the listing or start a new one? Okay, so hold on. Let me reread your question, Adama. Okay, so if you're referring to starting a new store, like a personalization store, I would not do that. I would just add it to the existing one already. If you're asking something different, let me know. But I would Okay. Sorry, I'm having a hard time understanding your question. Let me see one sec. Okay, so yeah, I would just add it to the existing one that you already have. If I'm misunderstanding it, Dama, let me know, please. Do you in the future ever consider making t-shirts yourself to increase margin? I love the idea of being able to have higher profits building out or designing my or printing my own shirts and shipping them all, but the trade-off is so hard because for example, I can go on a trip at any time that I want and my business can continue to run because I'm not doing any of the shipping or the printing or any of the fulfillment side of it. So, for that reason, I would not because we love to travel so much and we're always in transit that it's very difficult to run a business if I had to print them all, unless I obviously hired out all of the work and had someone do all the printing for me. So for me, the trade off is there that I will have smaller margins so that I will have more flexibility and more opportunity to go anywhere and to not be tied down. But yes, you'll make significantly more if you're printing your shirts yourself. But the trade off is just it's so it would be so much work to do all of the fulfillment, so it's not worth it to me. I'll pay someone and have smaller margins for that specific reason. So being a new store just a month, do you suggest on niching down or stuff that's super popular? So you have my advice here would be you have to niche down, but you have to have a general store. If that doesn't make sense to you, just you got to think about so you have to have a broad general store. I've had the most success with my general store because I've been able to tap into so many different niches, but within those broad niches you have to niche down by trend combining and having like a really niche specific design that would be unique to that audience base. So um, starting out I had a super niche specific store. All of my designs were related specifically around positivity, and so I was doing like positivity t-shirts and sweatshirts. And we had a few sales here and there, but it was very slow moving. And it didn't really start to take off until I switched gears and went to a general store to where I could design in all sorts of different niches. So just an example, these aren't specific niches I designed in, but like in the football niche, in the health and wellness niche, in the um, Halloween niche, or whatever it is, I was able to really diversify and have a lot more opportunities to be found once I did that. So I would niche down within a general store. I hope that makes sense. But great question. And the biggest thought there is you have to trend combine in order to stand out on Etsy. So if you plan on just designing a it's holiday season with a t-shirt or with a tree, you're going to have a very difficult time standing out and having success. So you have to think of specific ways to bring multiple trends into one design and to incorporate your own spin on it in order to really have success. Hi Brandon, can you explain what blocks of SEO is like I heard to make 3 blocks of SEO. Stephanie, um so I'm not too familiar with this term, to be honest. If you ask this question in the comment section as this stream ends, I'll answer it for you. But my guess of what this is referring to is this is just a guess is having your like primary block or like your main keywords you want to rank for is your first block or your beginning, and then your next most important keywords would be your next block, and then your least important keywords, but still keywords that you would like to rank for, would be your third block. But I'm not familiar on that term. I'll be honest. But ask this question down below after the stream ends, and I'll be sure to answer it. What I meant was I have an existing listing and I could add personalization to it or start a new duplicate listing. Thanks so much. Sorry I didn't word my question well. Okay. So, in terms of that, I would just create a new listing because it would be another opportunity to be found. It'd be more keywords out there for people to find your shop with. So, I would create a specific listing for personalization. And then what I would do is I would cross my listings. So, in the description, you can have hyperlinks. So you can have clickable links and say, check out this other design that's related to this design. And that would be a great way to increase sales, increase the order count, and just a great way to keep them on your shop. But yeah, thank you for clarifying, Adama. Sorry, I misunderstood that. Okay. I have a really well performing store for 7 months now. I'm getting consistently 1 to 15 sales a day. In one very rare niche, I have dominated. Any tips for me to scale or next steps recommendations? Okay, so Kevin, it sounds like you are headed the right way and you're headed in the right direction and you found something that's working. So, honestly, my biggest advice for you would be to continue to rinse and repeat and to continue to do what you're doing and to not necessarily change drastic because you found something that's working. And then the best way to scale is like if you have one design that's doing really well for you, I would then put that on multiple different products. With print on demand, especially with Printful, you're able to easily add all types of different products. So I'd throw that design on a hoodie, on a tank top, on a crew neck, on a t-shirt, on a mug, embroider on a hat. And that's a great way to scale. And then to think of creative ways to slightly tweak that design and to incorporate it into a different niche. And then also with this too, this goes back to, I believe it was Mary who asked about about running ads. I would consider scaling it with ads. If you have some extra cash, pour some of that money you're making off of those sales every day and dump it into ads specific to that listing, and to see if you can have it or be able to have it show up in more places in search results because you're running ads on it, and it would be a quick and easy way to scale it. So those would be my two um, pieces of advice for you. But awesome job, Kevin. That's exciting. 1 to 15 sales a day is awesome. So keep up the good work, keep rinsing and repeating, and things will continue to grow for you. All right, my friends, thank you so much for tuning into this live stream today. Again, if you haven't been to my channel yet, remember it's Brennan Dopp. I walk you through everything step by step, everything that you need to do to get your shop up and running and to start making daily sales. I highly recommend going and checking out my channel, watching those videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe because I will. You'll be able to be notified. Make sure you have your notifications turned on so that you can know when I post new videos. I post once a week. Usually, I'm not consistent on what day. It depends on how I can fit it all into my schedule, but I post every week and I go live every other week to hopefully help answer questions. Another great place for you guys to be is in my Facebook group, Print on Demand Warriors. The link is in the description. It's a great community there. We have a lot of people that are in this live chat today. I've seen a lot of names that are in that group who are so super helpful, who are willing to help others. And it's just cool to see a positive community like that be growing and willing to help others for no benefit to them at all. They're just willing to help because they want to help. So, and you can ask any type of question there and they will answer it for you. I'll be honest, I've been lacking on the Facebook group. I've been struggling to answer every question just because it's growing and it's getting bigger. It's hard to keep up with everything, but I try my best to chime in when needed and when necessary. But if you guys have any questions at any time, ask them on my channel. I'll answer them there, as well as ask them in the Facebook group, and tune into my next live stream. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you end this December in a positive way for you and you're able to see some sales and success, and just keep at it. The biggest thing that will keep you from having success is quitting. So don't quit and good things will come. I'm a prime example of that. I have no experience in this. I just was willing to learn, and I wanted to learn because I wanted to figure out a way to make money online that I could do, and I could work remotely doing it. And I was able to learn it. And because I stuck with it and I implemented everything I was taught and everything that I learned, I started to see a lot of growth because of it. So, and remember to always count your blessings as well, to be grateful for what you have and to be a good human. Okay, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.